What's up, everyone? This is going to be a new segment, a little mini episode of Radio YoYo called Radio YoYo Mail Call. Since I started the show, there's been people reaching out to me wanting to thin their yo-yo collection, wanting to give me stuff that I talked about on the show, just wanting to share, which is really cool, and I appreciate it. I'm basically rebuilding the yo-yo collection of my youth. I had a lot of yo-yos growing up in the early 2000s that I ended up getting rid of. So, as an adult now, with some resources, I like to try to recreate that nostalgia, get some of the yo-yos of my youth back, and actually take care of them this time. Long gone are the days of purposely smashing up yo-yos like an asshole. I was guilty of that. I now take care of my stuff, and I like to have a nice collection, a well-rounded collection with different pieces from when I grew up yo-yoing, and even older than that too. So, I got my drawer over here in my little museum, and it brings me a lot of joy. So this is really cool that I actually have two packages here today that are contributing to that. So let's get into it. The first one, big boy from Russia. This package is from Russia. I'm going to butcher this name, but Alex Nikiforov from Moscow. Thank you so much, Alex. Alex hit me up on Instagram and said, I have a package for you. I have a couple yo-yos I want you to have. I don't know what's in here, but I am very excited to find out. Just the box is awesome, honestly. The tape, the Russian tape. So let's open it. All right. Let's see what's inside. Very well packed. Thank you, Alex. Bongo Bong. A very interesting bag with pot pie and a 420 mug. It says Bongo Bong. If anyone knows what that is, let me know. And a nice note. All right, here we go. We've got 2 disassembled yo-yos, 3 disassembled yo-yos, and then here's some axles. This is beautifully packaged. Some D bearings. Just what I need, honestly. They're flat. Wow. And the first yo-yo. Oh, it's an Avenger. We talked about this on the pod. Tyler had one of Danny's old Hitmen that had been modified with an Avenger hub. So they had cut the hub out of the Avenger and put it into a Hitman. Go watch that episode of Collection of Goods if you haven't seen it. Man, Avengers are sick. Avengers are so sick. Such like a heavy, solid. It's like a heavy, heavy, solid pro-yo. And this is siliconed? Hold on. Wait a second. Yes. So half of it is stock Starburst. Worn down. The other half is siliconed. That plays nice as hell. Clean bearing. This is awesome. Bop my cat. Bop barreled in the head. It happens. He's used to it. Very cool yo-yo. I don't own an Avenger, so I'm stoked. This is like the golden era of Duncan as far as I'm concerned. The Avenger, the Ballistic, the Freehand 2, Throw Monkey, Flying Panda. I love those yo-yos, so it's cool to have this. And it plays well. I'm going to film myself playing with all these at the end, too. So let's get into these disassembled ones. What is this? Blaster Nano? I've never heard of this. He mentioned it in the note. He said he thinks it came out in the 2010s. It has a nice smooth ring. Hand siliconed. No pads. This thing feels good. And it's D-bearing. No fucking way. Concave D-bearing. Let's put the axle in. Let's put the bearing in. That's a nice D-bearing. This thing is wild. I'm excited to learn more about this. That is a great organic shape. It's chunky, it's heavy, and it has a really cool finish on it. Let me check the note. I think you'll like the CM Mono Blasters. They're from 2010. I think you'll like them for 5A. They also come with a D-bearing. It has a very faint engraving on it that says Blaster Mono. This feels insane. Really cool yo-yo. I was sort of out of the game in 2010, so I missed this. But I'm excited to try it. What's next? I don't know. Is that what I think it is? Wow. It's a buzz-on, but it has caps. It is a buzz-on Bushido. I have never owned a Bushido. Oh, let's get this thing assembled. This is a cool yo-yo. So guys like Paul Yoth would use this for 3A. It's kind of a slimmer Element X with these heavy brass rings in it. So let's assemble it. This is what the guts look like. This is what we had to deal with back in the day. Spacers. It's got a single Duncan friction sticker in it. The other side is empty. And these are the dreaded, infamous buzz-on hex nuts. They go on the side of the yo-yo, like so. And you tune the shit out of it by spinning the hex nuts until it doesn't wobble anymore. So let's see if we can get this thing together. Centering the axle as best as I can. Alright. So it's together. Let's throw the caps in. Wow, press fit. So sick. I have never owned a Bushido. Thank you, Alex. Buzz-on Industries. So it is just an Element X body with big brass rings and caps. How wobbly this thing is. My guess is extremely. But I will tune it. Not bad. Nothing cooler than the look of a spinning cap, in my opinion. Wow. So it's a small A-size bearing, like a Duncan freehand. It's tug responsive. Cat, knock it off. This is sick. I'm gonna clean the bearing. I'm gonna leave it stock. I don't think I want to silicone it. I wouldn't trust cutting into an old Element X plastic. But wow, this is gorgeous. I'm so happy to finally own one of these. So, 3 really cool yo-yos. There's one more here. Let's see what it is. What? It's another one of these Nano Blaster. Nano Blaster Cold Metal. And this is recessed Duncan friction sticker. Wow. And it's like sanded down. I want to learn more about these. If they were made in the United States, if they were made in Russia. The other half is a recessed silicone sticker. Cold Metal Nano Blaster. And another D bearing. It almost feels like if it's from 2010, there's a chance this is American made. But I have no idea. It feels good. So you can see the engraving there. It's more visible on this one. Cold Metal Nano Blaster. And it's sort of got a red cup on this side and the darker black blue cup on this side. And then the whole body is like red and blue. And it has like stars and stripes on the engraving. So I'm wondering if this is like an American made yo-yo. It is the same as the other one. Just without the cool finish. These are cool as hell. They're heavy. They're hefty. But the size is nice. They're kind of small. Diameter-wise. Really sick. I'm stoked on these. So, all the way from Russia to Allentown, Pennsylvania. Thank you, Alex. These are cool as hell. And you sent some extra D bearings. Some extra axles. I appreciate that. Alright. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? Now this next one, I do know what's inside. And this is from Kevin Sullivan, aka Field Medic. Check him out on Spotify or Bandcamp. He's a great musician. He's going on tour soon. He might be coming to your city. But Kevin and I go way back. We were on Anti-O together, Team Anti-O. He was the first member of Team Anti-O, shortly after Brian Koski got on. But yeah, I met Kevin. He went by Nivik, which is Kevin backwards with an I instead of an E, on the yo.com forums. And we got to chatting on there, and then we met at 2005 World Yo-Yo Contest. And we hit it off, and we've been friends ever since. So he hit me up the other day on Instagram and said, I have something for you. And I couldn't believe my ears when he told me what it was. But we're going to open it here together. What is it? It has a pink string. This is exciting. It's a very pink string. Is that enough of a hint for some of you will know right away? Wow, it's bigger than I remember. This is an H-Spin Good and Evil, number 120 of probably 400. I'm not really sure. Is this the good side with the little angel wings and the halo? And this is the evil side with the little devil horns and pitchfork. hspin.com. Handquake, it says. Now, I went in depth on my story the other day on Instagram about H-Spin and the Handquake. In 1997, I believe it was, they released a yo-yo called the Handquake. And it is the first bimetal yo-yo. It was aluminum with brass rings and aluminum with stainless rings. They made two different versions. It was also the first yo-yo to have bi-coloring, so like a half swap. It was also blue and black, the same blue and black. It was a slimline, and they released it in the late 90s. Then in, I believe, 2003 or 2004, they came out with this, which is an insanely beautiful, oversized organic shape with brass rings. So many things about this were revolutionary. You could thumb grind with this, and Dr. Popular figured that out in one of his videos because of the way the ring was. This was my first aluminum yo-yo. I got it in 2004 or 2005 for Christmas from my mother. And I don't know what happened to it. I obviously sold it at some point. I don't know to who or why or when. I do not remember. But I no longer owned one for many years, and now I do, thanks to Kevin, and I can't thank him enough. I could almost cry because this thing is in pristine condition. I've been looking for one for so many years. They just don't come up for sale, and when they do, they cost a lot of money. So I'm going to show you the guts of this thing. The guts are insane. But look how beautiful it is. It's one of the coolest looking yo-yos ever made, in my opinion. Without a doubt. But the guts on this thing, the quality is insane. There's a hair in the bearing, Kevin. I have a Kevin hair. Beautiful red Kevin hair. This would be worth money to some Field Medic fans. Wow, so this is half carbon fiber Paul Yoth pad. Paul Yoth made pads out of carbon fiber for several years. This is literally a sheet of carbon fiber. And they last literally forever, which is why this has probably been in here since 2005. But they aren't like the most effective pad in the world. Silicone's much better. And then it looks like we have a thin diff pad. Diffio pad on the other side. Nicely worn in. Actually, this might be a Kentaro pad. I'm going to have to ask someone who can remember better than me. But this is also a D-bearing yo-yo. It's got a chunky axle. And then I don't know if you can see, but there's like a paper-thin spacer on top of that bearing. 2 paper-thin spacers. This is one of them. So, good luck keeping track of that. 2 spacers on each side. I don't know why. I think it's so you can adjust the gap size. In fact, I know that's why. So if you remove one of these spacers, this is going to tighten to a smaller gap so it'll be more responsive. Adjustable gaps were like such a big deal in the early 2000s because people still weren't 100% unresponsive. Now we have gaps that close and they close tight, and that's the gap you have. But back in the day, everyone was like, but what if you want to play responsive? You have to make your yo-yo able to play responsive because half the yo-yoers still play responsive. So yo-yo jams had an adjustable gap where you could tighten it down to be really thin, or you could open it up wider and wider and wider. You could use shims to keep it permanently wide, similar to these shims or spacers. All the aluminum yo-yos, same deal. Well, not all of them. Diffios and anti-yos were a fixed gap. But things like this, the way H-spin dealt with adjustable gap was by using paper-thin spacers. So use one spacer on each side if you want a thinner gap. Use two if you want a wider gap. I feel like it went all the way up to 3. I could be wrong because this gap is pretty small. But that's what the gap looks like with 2 spacers. So just an unbelievable piece of history. Everything from the nipple to the brass rings, they're tarnished with age. They probably smell a little bit. My nose is stuffy, but I can't believe it's in mint condition. I remember Kevin playing with this in 2004 and 5 when I met him. Incredible. Let's throw it again without the hair in the bearing. That's better. Maybe it was my hair in the bearing. It's very possible. Oh! And I hit it on the ground. It's smooth, man. For a yo-yo this old. Gorgeous. Wow. I can't believe it. I can't thank you enough, Kevin. I don't know what to say. I owe you big time. Beautiful piece of history. Between these 2 yo-yos, I'm in heaven. Like, this is my youth right here. Beautiful organic yo-yos. Big. Like, compared to a titanium dunk, look how big that is. And I feel like the dunk's almost kind of a big yo-yo. Big, slimline organic. Slimline by today's standards. Even the slim dunk is wider. They're about the same. Gorgeous. So, thank you guys for joining me on this little journey. I'm going to do this as things show up. If you want to send things in, I would never ask for anything, but if you're trying to slim down your collection or whatever, you want to donate to the pod, to the Yo-Yo Museum over here at my house, shoot me a DM or leave a comment on YouTube and I'll get you my info. But Alex and Kevin, thank you so much. And thank you guys for watching. Have a good one.